Gabe takes a deep breath, then tries to persuade his company. We need a little sunshine in here, kids, to help with the boring days at least. Hey, let's go and get some sort of food to consume and fill up this fridge. We've been out of stock on everything except ramen and peanut butter, and even the bread's starting to go moldy. Gabe says anxiously.
Yeah, I think we should. I'd like some jelly to go with that peanut butter every once in a while, you know. This throat does go dry sometimes.
Suds says. Haha, oh really? There's yet to be a day your mouth has gone dry enough to not say something resembling a fool, Gabe says, with a smile.
Gabriel, one day I will break your neck, and I'm not going to say when, not going to say how, just know you're eventually just going to wake up dead.
Gabe's smile widens. Suds, the whole idea of me waking up dead is of no concern because that is impossible unless I was a ghost. Sutherland continues.
Exactly. You're going to wake up a ghost and see I was the one who killed you.
Aeoleon enters the conversation. I believe we should invest in food. I'll get Ben and we can head out. Aeoleon leaves the room as if he wasn't there in the first place, leaving a trail of smoke following his route.
Yes, that would be best. I wouldn't want to hurt old Gabe's feelings anymore.
Sutherland smirks and walks towards his room. Oh, how sweet of you, Suds. I didn't know you cared so much. Gabriel states, looking around the room filled with silence. I suppose that was my cue to also acquire my jewels for the barter. Ha! He quickly stands to his feet and slides towards his room. Ben grips his finger around his pen, his palms gelatinously slipping periodically the pen from a firm hold, his bronze forehead condescending with sweat falling to the script paper beneath him. He scribbles thoughts to the paper, following with signatures and small circular symbols and mathematical configurations, graphing a map. He has no clue to the destination. He lays his head to the paper and just meditates his thoughts and lifts his head back to his writings. Continues to etch into papyrus for minutes on end, just trying to get out what has him continually drawn towards this unending delirium. He begins to talk to himself. What is it? What has this hold on me so great that I cannot breathe? What can I do to free my mind? Where am I in this equation, clouding my mind so heavily? I cannot take an ease for air when it comes to this driven thought in my head. It won't leave me like a nail to the coffin. Ben stands up, suddenly falling away from the table, swayed by a cold gust, slamming the chair into the table, yet vibrantly inward to himself in his head. What am I supposed to do? I have no idea what this means. These words, these symbols, these equations. What is this sound? The sulfur grips his head, twirling him amongst the heat from hell, a suggested paranoia warping his reality.
Benjamin, do you wish to save everyone?
These words creep up Ben's spine. Who? Who are you? Where are you? What makes you think you know what I wish to do? What makes you think you know anything about me, other than my name? Who are you, to judge a judge? A conscious battle taking place in a silent room of solitude. Ben looks around frantically, his eyes searching his entire room for the source of these words. Even knowing my name means nothing. I am Benjamin Quay Karik. I am a judge. I will give you the honor of ending by my blade if you dare show your face, you foolish apparition. Benjamin is fully aware he is being haunted, and will not let his mind slip away. He trained for this, over and over again at the monastery in Egypt. More words approach his ears from inside his mind, and outside his train of cognitive defense.
Benjamin, I am here with nothing but the best intentions for you and your comrades. If you wish to save them, that is. If you wish to save the world as you intended from day one. The words reach him, almost so close in the veil of a child's voice, echoing kindred spirit, not foe.
Sutherland approaches Ben's room, walking quietly as he can, as a towering force of a man, pondering the ruckus that has occurred so loudly. Having no idea what is happening, Suds holds his cup of coffee steady, inconspicuously laying his ear against the wall of Benjamin's room. Benjamin turns his attention away from the voices that has him so frustrated and secluded, as he hears the creaking of the floor from outside. His hands grabs hold of his pen, holding up like a dagger. He just waits for his approaching assailant, like a hunter to its prey, to enter his room and prepare to be slain. Wallowing in paranoia, he cannot undo his warrior's preparations of defense. Benjamin begins to yell incoherently at the door. If it is you, come take full dose of my sword. Let it be the last medicine you receive. Suds knocks on the door without announcing who he is, then opens the door slightly, then bursts it fully open. Scared for what is facing against Ben, he enters the room in a blundering full rush, Ben, what's going on? Ben at first does not recognize that it is indeed Sutherland and leaps at him with a downward slash, and before his pen makes its way through Suds' skull and deep into the frontal lobe, he stops and rolls to the side. Ben, it's Suds. What is wrong with you, man? You're going insane. While huffing and puffing, Sutherland rips the pen from Benjamin's hand. Ben then says, while trying to devour the air around him for breath, Suds, I didn't recognize you at first. My head is somewhere else. Sutherland glares into Benjamin's eyes, tossing the pen to the ground. Well, it's fine, I guess, you ruffian. Just chill out, man. Nothing is going to breach our premises. That old puppy made sure his bears, he doodles, with those and little seals of his, has made sure of that. So don't fret over creatures of the night, like we're not a professional unit, especially since I planted death blossoms everywhere else inside our base. Sutherland loved military-grade weaponry so much he renamed them. Everything, including landmines, calling them deadly garden vices. He thought himself a poet. We're a team. You have nothing to worry about. Benjamin just nods and walks out of his room. Suds looks around for a moment, glancing at the papers Ben has been so hypnotized and crazed over, then shakes his head, thinking to himself, his friend be damned like the rest of us. He do be best to be at his side. Sutherland leaves Benjamin's room, hoping for resolve. Sutherland, still holding the metal coffee cup, now warped and more resembling of a metal flower, thinking. It was now a work of art. Carries it towards his room, watching Benjamin walk away. Sutherland enters his room, painted in black and deep sparkling gold encrusted borders twinkle like stars at a distance. The smell of gun oil and boiling rock of coal mixed with the aroma of cherry. Suds just sits by his bed, which could fit a family of 5. He bends down and lifts its mass in entirety, and places the other side of the bedroom. On the floorboards below, the names carved into the ground. R.I.P., my sweet Lucille, and strong boys Havon and Jabel. From the heavens you still have my heart. Sutherland kneels to the ground and lifts a lever. Beneath the names, Suds stands back as a massive compartment of weapons ranging from axes to sniper rifles to shotguns to even rocket launchers stand erect on a pedestal in front of him. His hand against a button labeled Soldier of War. From doing this, a tray of currency slide out from inside the pedestal. He grabs a few stacks of currency, knowing his hunger is as vast as Aeolion's stomach, then pushes the tray back into the place where it was before. He grabs a hold of the top of the pedestal and slams it back into the ground. Sutherland remembers Benjamin's current status and reminisces on how he'd get snazzy for the 0.1% of half-decent women in the market, and rushes out his door. Portraits of wings and the skyscapes of foreign lands hang around the organized room. Burberry and blackberry scents twist and rise. Gabriel leans casually against the fluorescent walls beside his bookshelves in his room, pulling one book in particular forward, titled The Holy Grail. His entire shelf moves into the white wall as a new row of shelves come to view. Money, bottles of liquor, and wine ignite his eyes. Gabriel practically drools picking apart his inventory and partially a liquor cabinet stash, opening bottles, taking swigs, then twisting each cap back on top of the bottles. He stuffs dollar bills into his wallet, almost falling to the floor as he turns to exit his room. He smears the liquor into his skin, smiling at his intoxication. Deja vu, black walls with white photos and horror taunt at the man. Aeoleon enters his room, 6 white candles set on the walls on lintels. Aeoleon glares at each wick. A fire announces itself on each candle sporadically. The embrace of white and black flames course the candles. Inside a grand picture of Nostradamus, his mouth opens toward a doorway. A small ember sparks in the center of the room. Aeoleon's eyes glaze over the darkness of the next room. Smoke fills the air as if it were fumes pushing down harder than gravity. The pale taste of fire swarms the pathway as Aeoleon guides his way through his secret passage, with his favorite possession, his cigarette. As he begins to enter the next room, a presence grabs his hand from behind. As he turns around, he sees a beautiful woman with chocolate-colored hair, her smile speaking clearly with no voice at him, then disappears into the smoke. Aeoleon braces himself by anchoring against the wall, his face shaken by the image of the lips he read as they were gone. I miss what we were yesterday. Mi manco quello che eravamo ieri. Aeoleon breaks from his trance like a pinch while you're asleep. He looks towards his shelves. full of a variety of new and ancient daggers, and swords accompanied by jugs of black ink. He walks down the small lane to the left. A small model of a waterfall and a woman drinking from the pond underneath, beside a man with his arms crossed, laughing at the sky and the shadow of a young boy behind the waterfall. He picks it up, and underneath he grabs his money. Placing the model back down, he glares at the woman, and then the man by the waterfall, and finally the boy, and only for a second. He ponders and leaves to meet his partners. The hallways of the church all intersected between the bedrooms and bathrooms of the judges, and a singular bedroom beautified with pink-stained glass and wondrous aromas of flowers, and a touch of deliberate, tidy, compulsive order. Selina, a beautiful orange-haired, dyed, slender woman, wearing a blouse, a form-fitting suit, stood by the descending stairs leading to the front door, looking over Aeoleon as he attempted to tiptoe past her watchful eyes, without causing obvious attention to his lack of decorum. Ale, why don't you ever wear something besides those drafty relics of clothes? The floor creaks as Aeolian ignores her and feels the ominous eyes of a motherly gaze bear down on him. Perhaps I'll go find you something later this week if you care to give input on color, Selina says, waiting for a response. Aeolian smiles kindly. Whatever you prefer, Selina. I'll wear it around our home. Selina nods appreciatively. Thank you, Ale. My job is so boring. I need to find more hobbies besides assisting you and those Neanderthals. Benjamin and Gabriel come downstairs yelling at each other, pulling on each other's clothes, trying to trip themselves down the steps. You wish you had a chance with that dime like her. Ben laughs as Gabriel shouts, Shut up, pinball! Laughing at Ben's gleaming forehead. As they reach the bottom of the stairs, both men fix their collars and disheveled appearance, then simultaneously smile at Selina. Benjamin winks at her. What's up, Selina? Looking good. She gives him a high five. I know, right? Must be all this country air just giving me this well-off appearance. Ben chuckles. Gotta be that. And a wholesome diet. Keep it up. Gabriel reaches his hand up for a high five as well. Selina denies him and retracts her hand. Gabe, I know it was you sending me those lingerie. There's a total of 5 people out here. Gabe smirks. Yeah, the dress I see you in hasn't been created yet. You deserve the best, darling. In a country boy slang accent, Selina rolls her eyes as Gabe keeps walking to the door. There's lesser ways your kin have lost their wings, chosen ones. Selina states, continuing to chat with Benjamin, laughing at Gabriel's endearing love interest. Aeolian and Gabe reach the front door together as Aeolian's stomach rumbles and Gabriel sips on his flask. Sutherland enters the garage, completely evading Selina's evaluation for the day. Procedures are for those still enlisted. He thought this more of a platoon of uniquely gifted special operators who should know exactly how to check and recheck their equipment without leadership elements interfering. Decentralized is key, he's heard over and over again in his past deployments. He opens the door to a vehicle engraved with lettering around each door seal. Divina Ignum Ferrum Passis Verona. The key jingles as it enters the ignition. The engine starts on a black stallion, revved to perfection. The black tinted windows let no hollow eyes pierce its hull. A warrior in itself, for it had seen many great battles and victories. The cross-etched cover of the steering wheel gripped by a soiled man in his own grief. A tapestry laid in black ink, the silver lining blessed with incantations to ward off foes. Let benevolence be the greatest factor to guard this steed. It has been their guardian and almost faster than flight to our deliverance of the damned, Salus, the bringer of salvation and peace. The horse of safety coursed in black to be the one with the darkness, but only to converge with prosperity. Feel his rage, it will put you to the floor, a devastator on the light side. Aeolian wrestled with the front door. the lock mechanism always a clutter for his hands. A sliver of light snuck under the sealed combination door. They opened outward to the abundant sky. Thunderous rumbling came lurching from the garage door opening. Suds behind the wheel of a Cadillac DeVille, with a grimace on his bearded cowl. He truly loved this car, the dark brown interior and the black cascading outside appearance, darker than midnight. He led the car to the front steps. Gabriel strode to the car and opened the passenger door. He watched Ben approach Ale by the front door and turned to enter the seat. Aeoleon waved his hand at Gabriel, sitting in the passenger seat, with a smile. Dumbfounded and blinking generously, Gabriel enters the back seat. Benjamin straps himself into the loud Cadillac. Aeolian, with a little smile, says, "A good day." Benjamin enters the seat behind Sutherland. Breathes heavy. "For you, Ale, you always get the front seat." Aeolian just grins, saying nothing. "Yeah, exactly. Why, it's a good day for you, you lucky bastard." Gabriel insists. "Now, Suds, take your time tonight. You almost killed like 5 people parking the car." Sutherland just stares at the road, then looks to his right to Gabe in the mirror behind him.
"A man of my profession would never miss, so almost is never going to happen. They'd be dead."
Sutherland wobbles his head in agreeing with himself manner, then places his hand on the shifter, ready to fire back that strong-hearted spine. He places the brake shifted to drive. The sky trails behind them. They watch the sun pass behind them as the moon arrives. They are set on their path. Selina waves them off and goes to lock the doors behind her. She enters into the side room where she begins to communicate to the council. Tall structures pass in the peripheral of each man's eyes. The lowering sun dives behind tall mountains. The crescent moon guides the way. Figures cloaked in the darkness of the forest watch them from a distance as the car passes them by. Ale and Benjamin glare at the moon. Benjamin gloats. "So, Aeolian, how does it feel to have the moon as your greatest weapon?" Ale turns his attention from the hypnotizing lunar star. "I don't believe it is my greatest weapon. It is just an ally I put my faith in. No matter the celestial body of energy, I am imbued by it. My form can focus spiritual energy." Benjamin chuckles under his breath. "Oh yes, an ally that turns you from human to a beast." Ben glances at the sky, and the forest seeming so still as they pass. "I suppose in some way none of us are like them. We all hold some purpose far beyond what they can comprehend. Even you, Aeolian. Even you." Gabriel intrudes into the conversation. "Ben, why do you and Robert continue to patronize Ale for what he cannot change about himself? He has proven himself over and over again. He, himself, as a brother-in-arms to this villainy. Leave him be." Ben turns to Gabe. "I'll apologize to him for all those when his kind have been vanquished. And what makes you change your tone of voice to so elegant, Gabriel? We have no leader, and you will never be it, so shut your mouth." Sutherland says in concord.
"Amen."
Gabriel looks at Aeolian, fastened in his chair, then to Benjamin. "Ben, you know there cannot be light without darkness. This war will never end, even if it's a quiet one to those without eyes to see the chaos. Ale is someone who can keep his opinions of those who batter him silent, because he knows already he's strong. But I will not put up with your mouth if you cannot just be less prejudiced to a man who respects you, and I have nothing more to say to you. I have no fears in this world, because I've already been through and witnessed hell, and that is not my place to argue over where I belong in this world, or the next. If you wish to not see me as a friend, I still will not give up the place you have won in this damned heart, brother. You are kind even when you are disagreeable or wrong. I still respect you and would die for you." Aeolian confirms, touching his hand on the window, continuing to look at the sky. Benjamin returns to staring out at the glass keeping him trapped, and Gabriel smiles and begins to whistle a melody. 9 p.m. Wednesday, June 1st, 2011. The blur of a cool night buzzed with ambitious patrons. A bar named X-Rated Coliseum was having a weekday $50,000 poker night. Horns blared from cars, and people strolled past and frowned. Sharon was a normal town, quiet during the day, enticing during the night, from the shadows of human temptations. Police patrolled frequently, like civilized worlds. A moderate pay for being the protection through the life-risking doctrines, legality, and laws were the backbone of civilization. Something a poker competitor chuckled at in the back of his mind. Cheating was his gift, he surmised. His survival depended on using people to live his lavish life he created. Inside the X-Rated Coliseum loomed a man surrounded by beautiful women, draping on his arms, peeking at his cards, upper half, while keeping them face down on the green table. His face gleamed with mystery. Under his beard, drawn by a pseudo-Spanish commander of his father's lineage. "Peter, are you going to buy me that necklace I showed you at the mall?" a woman beside him asked. The man grinned, squinting his eyes beneath his prescription glasses. "Of course, baby. Just you wait and see." Peter was a tan-skinned bachelor who loved the attention of women, something he found invigorating compared to his parentless upbringing. Poker chips flung in the air as another competitor got up after slamming his fists in defeat at the table. The two opponents across from Peter played it cool with sunglasses and a pint of beer at their sides. Peter looked into one of their eyes. Suddenly, he could see what they could see. He manipulated the man into taking a drink while glancing at his cards. "Mirror," Peter said inside his mind, as his hold on the opponent's body dissipated. The inner window of the body told all tales, Peter thought, setting his cards down, knowing he already won this round. Gathering more poker chips to his side after the man's cards he saw got up from the table in defeat.